Yes, already.
Domskee,
Are
Trav,
we all ready?
Kauliarys.
Yeah, we are ready.
Ready.
Perfect.
All
Take it
right.
away, Chico.
So we're starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck, have fun.
Good luck, have
Good
fun.
luck, have fun.
Good luck, have fun.
So everyone should be in their appropriate channels. So let's get it started. Again, welcome everyone to the last run, well, the second to last run of Jelly Jam 2022. Welcome, Chico, to the commentary couch. Or so I thought anyway. I can't hear you if you're saying anything. Well, assuming you can hear me, at the very least, I'll cover it for the time being. Yeah, we're seeing two successful teams from the quarterfinals, being HabKeineName and Domskee, who beat the best team in the tournament actually, who suffered a terrible fate, and yeah, now are basically doomed to do commentary for the rest of their lives until, you know, the next tournament. And Kauliarys and Traviktox, who actually beat I forgot. Best commentator ever. I even commentated that match. Sinister Rain and Squealer. There you go. So, both of them seem to be starting with 4 points. And that is because there is a couple of points you can basically get from the get-go, and both teams already got some of the floor goals. So, as has just been posted in chat, you can click the score tracker, which you can use, which you can enable through the !tracker chat command, and there you can basically see which objectives our runners are going after. So every single runner has decided to bring Gels, Flash, Blaze, or Gusto. I do actually see Gusto for Kauliarys over there. I would generally assume everyone would take Blaze, but you know, we'll see. So I will cover tech here really quick for a second. And see whether Chico can, well, you know, hear me now, hear us now. I'm also assuming Eli is on it, so... Oh, that's a bit unfortunate. I hope we can settle that quickly. Yeah, for the time being, let me continue explaining. So, especially because I wanted to get into the early cave goals here a little bit before everyone got them on. So since I just talked about the capsule selection, that capsule, there was also a point objective down in the exploration goals, which is have a Form 1 capsule monster defeat an enemy, which generally means you're gonna run into the first really terrible enemy, really low HP enemy. You're gonna have your capsule hit it, and you're gonna get that point. That is relatively easy with Blaze and a bit harder with Gusto, which explains why Kauliarys is the only person or only runner in the game still missing that point, but that will probably happen sooner rather than later. Everyone else already got that point. And finally, Team Kauliarys and Traviktox chose to go with Lexus as a part of our party, which gives them a combined team point, which you can see in the trackers, those 2 different colors but 1 circle point, for lack of a better explanation. So those points you can actually mark, and you will mark your 1/2 of the point, and if the other player also gets it, that will be worth a point. It will not be worth half a point, but just 0 if only one of the 2 team players marks it. So that is kind of a way where, yeah, basically this team tournament even works, right? So there's 2 players working together. It's not just 2 players playing alongside each other. Yeah, also, if you guys have any questions about the tournament or otherwise, I'm going to get into commentary for the specific runs once we figure out Chico's situation here. Sorry, that's not Chico's issue probably, but I mean, I dare to blame it on Discord, but you know, you never know. In any case, I do not blame Chico. Okay, does this work, Chico?
Okay, I think this is working now.
Very nice. Let's just do that then.
Finally.
Yeah, welcome again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of worrying I had to talk for 2 hours straight. Not that I would have a problem with that, you know, but
It's good now. We're good now.
very nice. Yeah, so I was just basically saying if you guys have any questions, just write them in chat, such as has just been asked why does shields, helmets, jewelries, and actually rings only drop from floor 1 to 9. That is a bug, yeah.
Yeah, that's not supposed to happen. Or was, because it happened.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the basics of the ancient cave. Should we cover that really quickly, Chico? Who do you want to start?
You can go ahead, I guess.
All right. So you're basically looking at a roguelike game, which means there is, in this case, 100 floors. They're randomly generated on, like, you know, you get random floor layouts, random positions of chests, random occurrences of enemies. However, the contents of the chests and the type of enemies are determined by the floor number you're at. If you die, you die. So once your party gets completely wiped out, the run is over, pretty much. In this tournament, you get to start over, but you have to start over from floor 1. And basically, you don't know what you're gonna get from chests. So this is not like other roguelikes, kind of opinionated in your favor. So it's not guaranteed that you're gonna get a healing potion every floor or something like that. That is not a thing in Lufia 2. Lufia 2 is completely random. And yeah, that might lead to very good or very bad outcomes. Let's hope for the best for our players here.
Yeah, it all depends on what kind of items you get. Like, you can get like Deadly Rod on floor 5, or you can like just get it on 490. Same thing for healing spells. I mean, there are lots of tools that can be useful along the run. But yeah, it's all random. You don't know what you're gonna get. And speaking of Deadly Rods, there's one for Traviktox.
Yeah, definitely one of the more useful items, probably the item you're going to be most happy to find. In this tournament in particular, just to slowly but surely cover some of these goals here, there is a point incentive where no more than one player can equip a Deadly Rod between both teammates, meaning only one of the two can equip a Deadly at all, and that person can only equip one Deadly Rod. So, or, you know, fatal pick or Deadly Sword. So yeah, whereas you normally could argue you can immediately equip the Deadly Rod, in this race they might not want to necessarily.
Yeah. In this case, it's actually useful to have Lexus. Like, if you find a spell Destroy that has a 50% chance of killing an enemy, that's actually something that can be useful, and like the player, if he gets that, that might be a good option to not equip a Deadly.
Yep. Yeah, and of course, something I omitted in my explanation before is that on floor 100, or actually 99, boss enemy awaits you, in this case the Jelly, or the Master Jelly to be more precise. And if you follow along on the tracker, I'm going to post a link again in chat, because I feel it's going to be much easier to follow everything that's going on if you also have that link open, but you know, you do you. You can see on the top right are completion goals, and those goals can be filled by defeating the Jelly in a certain way or at all.
Yeah, you have lots of options for getting points on this case. The jelly is actually maybe one of the things that gives less points, maybe.
Yeah, the balance of points is definitely in favor of getting objectives throughout the run, more than in the jelly fight. However, yeah, as we've seen this in particular on Traviktox and Kauliarys' first round, the jelly fight can make all the difference. So it is points like any other. There's definitely a lot to do for the runners overall. So there's points that are specific to floors, there's points that can be gotten on either floor, and then there is points that can be gotten more or less in the party screen before the run with character choice and so on, or if they Providence before floor 50. Actually, that's something I wanted to cover. That's been asked in chat before. So there has been a rules change since last week, or since the last 2 rounds, which is that the Providence only yields a point if you use it before floor 50.
Yeah, now you can't just like use Providence like at any point. So you just need to know when should you do it, or if you should do it even.
Yep. Yeah, and most importantly, which I think led to the rules change, or at least that was my personal opinion, you will not see decisions in favor of just using Providence in the last minute and just get your free points, so to speak, over a person who managed to get the jelly kill and also just get 1 point for it, pretty much. So yeah, we should be seeing some exciting races here. All four players should have no problem getting to the end of the cave or killing the jelly, assuming the cave doesn't get in the way, that is. So yeah, we'll see what's gonna happen. Man, that was almost like 12 minutes talking about not a single thing the runners did.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm gonna try and focus on that now.
I mean, the game has a lot of things to cover in general.
Yeah. Yeah, and I definitely like getting into it. That's definitely true. So there is also an AC Discord command. If any of you guys enjoys this kind of speedrun or happens to grow to like it during the run, then yeah, feel free to join the community. And maybe this is a speed game for you. Now, this is actually the first of 2 runs we're gonna have tonight. That's probably also something to mention. After this, there will be the second of 2 semifinals. That's what's called the semifinal. And yep, next week will be finals. And I'm assuming race for 3rd. I'm not 100% positive that's what's gonna happen, but
yeah, I think that's
finals
what's
in
gonna
the
happen.
case.
I think that's
Yeah.
what's gonna happen first, and then it's gonna be the finals.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now, pretty much everyone is focusing on getting some levels.
Mm-hmm.
We are seeing Domskee killing some Wispies.
Yep. Traviktox did the same thing earlier. He found Blizzard, which is an ice spell, and Wispies are weak to ice. So that worked out nicely.
Yeah, it's very good.
Domskee just did the same thing.
It's very good to have some elemental magic for Wispies, because they don't seem like to... Weapons are not that good for facing Wispies.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's like a cold rapier or something like that.
Yeah. And I mean, it is a very fast enemy, so you always have to assume you're gonna take some damage from him. If you didn't get any cores, which is... I'm actually not sure if we've seen any, but looking at the levels, I'm assuming we did. Those cube-shaped enemies that yield a massive amount of XP for the floors that they're on. And if you don't get those, I personally am not a favor of going for the Wispy point. That's all I'm saying. Oh, there's a Sky Sword for Kauliarys. Very nice.
Yeah, that is a very good weapon. It's the strongest blue chest weapon of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is probably gonna be carrying him through the cave. Very nice find for sure. So these blue chest items in the regular game, you can take him out and bring him back into the cave for consecutive runs. So what normally, for the people who know the term, would be known as a roguelite, where you get additional options for consecutive playthroughs. However, in the speedrun, it is mostly for all categories but one. For all categories but two to be exact. Yeah, a single run, you go from start to finish. This tournament is an exception, so you can actually, if you Providence, bring these weapons back into the cave. So that's another feature about it.
Yeah, so if anyone gets like stuck on a certain floor, like a treasure room, and if they have Providence, they can just leave and start again.
Yeah. And I'm actually impressed by everyone except Kauliarys getting the... well, actually, didn't I just see him get that goal? Getting the Wispy kill. So unless I'm blind, I think you forgot to mark it. But maybe I'm blind, who knows? There are speedruns for this category, or basically, I mean, what you're seeing here are tournament-adjusted rules. On the regular game, of course, you would just try to clear the 99 floors and beat the Master Jelly as fast as possible. The world record for that is 45 minutes and 35 seconds, I believe, which should be a good couple of hours shorter than it usually takes people to beat it casually. And I'm only talking about a single run, of course. So, yeah. The speedrun has, or I guess the community has a couple ways to give yourself quite an edge to use the game's mechanics in your advantage, and I'm hoping we're gonna see a lot of them today, especially in the movement areas of things, which, you know, is kind of a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah, we'll see what the cave brings to us today. Like, sometimes you need certain situations to be like perfect, like enemies placed on the right places to pull some good tricks.
Yeah. And sometimes you try your best and you get cheat code, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Alright, so I've seen a lot of ice magic for the runners. The only one who I haven't seen having it is Domskee, but I'm pretty sure he does as well.
Yeah, I think I've seen HabKeineName cast Ice Valk, and both Kauliarys and Traviktox have Blizzard, I think. Which is actually pretty good for the next section, where people need to get fruits from battles. There are several enemies that like are weak to ice. I'm thinking about bugs and even sandworms. Like at 421, I think they still show up.
Yep. There is a couple of... we're seeing those enemies in Traviktox's screen right now, even though he doesn't want to see them. In a treasure room like that. So there's sandworms, which are the golem-looking guys that are right now running away from him. The same thing is showing up in HabKeineName stream right now, and actually Domskee's. Very nice.
Oh, yeah.
So those, yeah, sand-colored golems, I guess. Those guys are relevant for a couple of reasons. They do drop a fruit, and they do have green clays in their encounter composition. And green clays are calling in a reinforcement enemy that normally doesn't appear in any encounter, which is Torrent. If you defeat that guy with a fire elemental attack, so this is a lot of setup, right, that players have to go through, which is why there's quite a few points attached to it. If you do get a Sandgorm fight, you wait and you happen to have a green clay in there. That green clay happens to call a Torrent as a reinforcement. You happen to have a fire elemental attack or the Capsule Monster Blaze to kill it. That will get you a point, and you will get another point for defeating an enemy that doesn't normally appear in that encounter. So there's 2 points you get already. If you then get lucky, so those points you get guaranteed if the chain of events that I just explained happens. If you can't follow along, don't worry. We're gonna have a lot of time talking you through it again when someone's waiting for a Torrent to get summoned.
Yeah. We've
if
seen
you
that
also get
last
lucky.
week. We've seen that last week. It took
Yeah.
like too long to see it or get called because the chances are pretty low.
Yeah. Yeah, we see that Traviktox's screen right now, and hopefully he'll get lucky. But there is actually only a 5.88% chance that the green clay will call the torrent that these players want for the point. But yeah, Traviktox here is trying to kill off the sandworms first. That was actually the final thing I want to get into. If they're lucky and they hit the 10% drop chance for the earth fruit, they will actually get another point, which is the floor point for this goal, in earning a fruit from any battle. Yeah, so we'll see how that is going to be going, and HabKeineName is actually in the very same encounter here. It looks like, I'm not sure what happened to his torrent on Traviktox's, to his green clay on Traviktox's battle screen.
Yeah, it still doesn't have anything marked, so I don't know what's going on really.
As far as my perception is concerned, it just vanished and got replaced by another Sandgorm. I know that's not part of their moveset, so I guess
Maybe it was
something must
just
have happened, or...
trying to clear up that floor and just get going.
Yeah,
Not doing the goal, I guess.
I could see that, yeah.
Because like, if you don't have like enough resources for that fight, you can like be forever on that floor. On that fight.
Oh, there's a... sorry? Keep going?
No, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that Kauliarys just found a Fry Sword, so now he has the two easily strongest weapons in the game that aren't fractionals, which are kind of arguable whether they're strong or not. So with a Fry Sword and a Sky Sword, he can equip that to Decker and Maxim, and yeah, he's looking very good now, weapons-wise.
And Traviktox just got a fruit, I think, from Sandgorm.
Very nice. Yeah, so he does not find a torrent again, it seems, and floor 22 is actually the last floor where he can find the green clay. The last floor where you can't find a sandworm, which happen to have those green clays, so...
So Traviktox was something there, but it didn't really work. That's a shame.
Yeah, there's been a bit of discussion about snake strats lately. Yep.
So he was trying to get a 50-50 there, but it didn't have the right setup, so it didn't really work.
Yeah. There is really a brand new setup. I think it's not even a week old. Traviktox was one of the people messing with it, and I can't blame him for, like, you have to keep in mind that he's also having to communicate with his teammate, keep the points in mind, and so on and so forth. And on the list of priorities, encountering the snake only once instead of twice is really far down. So, yeah.
I mean, and it's a pretty recent strat that was found, so it's not like you can move it like already.
Yep. Yeah, so, I mean, while we're talking about it, there still are strats being found by Eve in this case, who also made the artwork, by the way, that you saw on the intro screen. So, shout out to Eve. That would be Eve with 3 underscores, of course.
Shout out.
Yeah, also, I guess, while we're at it, to Eli for hosting this tournament, to Chico for doing commentary, from me, of course, and yeah, all the people helping out with commentary and hosting last week in particular. So what did I want to say before I went into that? Right, there's still strats being discovered to this day. And it's really interesting because this isn't something that's hidden in the game code, someone finds a glitch or something that wasn't known before. This is just a movement that we've all looked at for years, and people just finding new ways to interact with it. And every time someone does, I'm thinking, okay, this is gonna be it, right? Now we found it all, and it's never
then
over.
There's something new again.
Yep. Yeah, it's very nice. So there's a red saber for Domskee. There's also an item he'll be happy to have for the jelly fight, perhaps. There is a couple of items.
Yeah, that's pretty useful because it has the 3 times attack effect,
Yeah.
so it's a good option for the jelly.
Yeah, it's basically one of two things you're looking for, which is finishers and fractionals, which I guess we're gonna go into later, but Red Saber is a finisher, and that's a good thing.
Well, we have not talked about it yet because there have been no fractionals yet. Well,
Yeah.
I guess Deadly Rod counts, but you still need
Yeah,
a Curse Lifter
fair.
to use it anyway.
Yeah, while we're staring at 3 screens actually where people are trying to get a torrent summoned. So yeah, I mentioned this a couple of minutes actually ago, but the summoning chance is 5.88%, so basically 6% if you want to think about it that way. And
Actually,
these guys...
I think actually Kauliarys is not on the right floor to do that. Or
Oh, he is though.
Oh wait, oh yeah, that's like a general goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, he definitely is. He might not be for the fruit, but
yeah, right. That's a general goal.
Yeah, so on Kauliarys' screen for a couple of seconds, you will actually see the torrent now, the infamous torrent. Why it's being called that, no one knows. And yeah, I'm assuming he has a fire attack somewhere. Oh, maybe Lexus does. Oh,
I think
Artie
it
might not have enough MP to
it's
use
harder
it.
to escape. Maybe. Because I think he has a fire dagger on Lexus. So it
Oh yeah, okay, so
it'll work anyway.
he doesn't have a fire spell, so it must be the fire dagger. Yeah. At the same time, HabKeineName is also facing a torrent. And Traviktox, who was, I think, at least the first person I saw encountering a green clay, is, for all I know, still in that battle. I'm joking, of course, but it can feel like that. And yeah, that is certainly one of the more beneficial goals, for sure, but also one of the more tedious ones. So
Yeah.
far...
I mean, you can be stuck in that fight forever.
Yep. Yeah, so Kauliarys beats it with a fire dagger, so he has that point marked. HabKeineName has that point marked. Traviktox will probably mark it within the next 30 minutes. And I did not see Domskee going for it at all, actually. Oh, that's because... Wait, is he past it?
Not yet,
I don't think he is.
No, there's a Sandgorm there. Although he got jumped by Deadly Armor.
Oh, yeah.
That is...
Yeah, there was Pugs there for Domskee, so he's past him.
Oh yeah, Pugs. I'm seeing wrong screens. Whoops.
All good. You got the couch, right?
Yeah,
I just got some chair. Check that out before the race.
Yeah, I think I'm still used to the previous setup where 2 players were on the top side and the other 2 were down. So yeah.
Yeah.
That might be the
gotcha.
reason for my confusion.
Yeah.
Takes a bit to get used to.
And Domskee is facing not the best room here, so if I'm not mistaken, he should be on floor 27 or 28.
Yeah. Oh, there's Evil Fish. Yeah, that's probably 27 or 28.
Yeah, and Pugs was last floor, so yeah. Yeah, if it was 27, then that would be alrightish, I guess. If it is 28, then he has the chance that those shells that he's fighting right now, or the other shell encounter that's still left, has ammonites in them.
Yeah, ammonites, exactly. Those are a nightmare too.
Those are nasty. Yeah, let's hope we don't have any reason to whip out the dirty birds. I guess the chances are as high as never with the 2 of us on commentary, Chico.
Yeah, right.
Let's see. I hope it's not gonna happen.
It's all fine.
Yeah. We got the one they tell us. Yeah.
Kauliarys got a spell potion that might be useful later.
Yep. He does need that to set up his all characters have 3 full bars goal, which probably is not going to come into play for a little bit, but you never know. Meanwhile, Domskee actually did face an Ammonite, but it was only a single one, and it seems like he got the first strike attack, so there was, yeah, nothing to worry there. Let me actually check who got the fruits. Oh, actually, all players except Kauliarys got it.
Yeah, Kauliarys is the only one that's missing a fruit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is the second time I'm mentioning that, or we're mentioning that, so just to not make it sound like Kauliarys isn't pulling his weight, he did get the R goal that I was previously mentioning, and he might still get the fruit goal, but also, that is a very RNG heavy goal, so the best chances you can hope for are, I think, 15% if I remember correctly. Let me look it up. Yep. So 15% per enemy that you have to find, that you have to beat, and so on. And not every enemy is dropping fruit, obviously. So it is definitely not guaranteed you're gonna get that point, which is also why I was surprised that 3 people in this race have actually gotten it so far. Which might explain the reasonably high points totals already at this stage of the race. After only half an hour, they got 12 to 14. And there's a Deca Blade for HabKeineName.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's very nice. So, he gets compensated with finding a title jewel in the blue chest, which really is not what you're looking for. Yeah, the Deca Blade, as I explained earlier, looking for fractionals and for finishers. The Deca Blade is the strongest fractional in the game, and definitely what you like to see in a tournament race like this. Again, probably gonna talk about it later unless you want to know, Chico. It's up to
Well, I can talk about it. So it's basically, it has an IP called Fatal Blow that does 50% of the jelly's damage, but of course it's not just 50%, it can be actually more, which is pretty good.
Yeah. It's basically, since the jelly fight is a battle against time, because you have to beat the jelly in 3 turns, right? It's the strongest option you can get for the battle because it's half the battle, over half the battle, as you're saying, in just 1 action. Yeah, he's gonna be happy to find the. I guess everyone else going to the jelly or hoping to go to the jelly is gonna be happy to find it as well. That is pretty much the reason why on every single run you will take Decker. Well, as long as you're allowed to, anyway.
I mean, it would be a bit bad to ban Decker because it's like the best option for the jelly anyway.
Right. Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not.
Like, even if you don't have a Decker Blade, there are several options for him. And if you have like Hedora Rock or Lizard Blow, stuff like that, he still does a ton of damage.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking about leaderboard categories, right? Not tournament runs. In a tournament, yeah, that would be terrible. Yeah. Let's see. I mean, knowing our tournament hosts and whatever will be the next Fatal Blowout or Jelly Jam, I get the feeling that
HabKeineName has a really bad treasure room right there.
And Kauliarys has a really terrible battle there. So, yep, he's unfortunately taking a total defeat.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Those bees are known to hit hard, definitely. And again, it's an enemy with a very high agility. So that unfortunately means, because he didn't Providence, he does lose his Sky Sword and his Fry Sword. Which is really unfortunate. But
Domskee just found the Berserk Blade. That's a weapon you don't want to have at all, because it has like high attack power, and if you don't have a stronger weapon for Decker, you can just equip it by accident. So you just feed it or drop it. But in this case, because there's a point goal in floor 91 to 98, I think, that you have to feed your capsule monster to form 1, from form 1 to form 4, you must actually drop it.
Yep. So both Domskee and HabKeineName actually went for the team goal in 21 to 30, which is evolve a level 1 capsule to form 2. Which for Domskee has not been Gusto apparently, whereas HabKeineName is still using, what is that, Blaze? I'm not sure. I have no idea what Blaze Form 2 looks like. So they might not take the feeding goal on the later floors. I'm not entirely sure. We will see. So those two goals are not synergizing very well. That's basically what I'm trying to get at, because if you feed a capsule from Form 1 to 2 on the 20 floors, then you cannot feed the same capsule from Form 1 to 4 on the 90 floors, right? So
Yeah.
either you're feeding different capsules or not.
And Domskee also got Mist Rapier. That's also a good weapon. It's a bit better than Red Saber, and Artie can use it. But in this case, I don't see how he made use of it anyway. He might be able to use it since he has Tia, but still, we'll see if he's gonna get that chance.
Yeah. Oh, actually, something else I was gonna mention about the Berserk Blade that you mentioned is that for our right side two runners, which is Kauliarys and Traviktox, the two Spartans actually, as their team name says, the Berserk Blade has different function because Lexus can actually equip it and is one of Lexus' best weapons. So that is also something to consider if you're going for, you know, something like a Cancer Rock or a Hedora Rock and a Jellyfight.
Yeah, on Lex's case, you will prefer a Hedora Rock because his attack power is not that great, and like the Berserk Blade is just 250 attack, so that's not really great. So you really want the Hedora Rock, so you can do more damage, casting spells and stuff like that.
Exactly, and I mean, except Kauliarys, who just unfortunately took a death, all these runners have ice spells, which means that they should be able to deal with Hedoras if they get there. So I'm looking at HabKeineName being pummeled here by Blue Mimics, and it also... Oh, he managed to just escape with 14 HP left in Decker. Damn, that was very close.
Well, it's actually surprising we've seen only Blue Mimics just now, because they are basically a run killer. The very first one, I guess. Like, they can use Frenzy, which is really a strong attack that can wipe pretty much your entire party. You don't really want to see Blue Mimics on the way. And they actually can be sitting on stairs, so yeah, that's not good when you see that.
They don't move at all, which means you have to resort to violence to get rid of them. As Eli in chat, our tournament host and rules adjudicator, is mentioning, is that Blue Mimics, or defeating a Blue Mimic, is actually a point. So, yeah. HabKeineName, he does... Oh, man.
Oh my god. Yeah, that is not
that is a terrible situation to be in. Oh, no. So... Yeah, he has to encounter one of these Blue Mimics. This is actually 4 Blue Mimics. However, he's lucky in that regard that only one of them is in the front row. Oh no, there is a third one.
Oh my god. Yeah, this is really bad luck. This is really bad luck right now.
So, I mean, none of them is actually in the way where he has to defeat them. But I can only imagine what's going on in their voice channel right now. Knowing HabKeineName, that is not going to be pretty. So
I can imagine.
Yeah, that is really unfortunate. And again, there's not a lot you can do except tanking it. So as I was mentioning in the last battle, there is a front row and a back row, and back row enemies do not deal as much damage. In this battle here, you have 2 mimics in the front row, which is a bit more dangerous. If you have 1 mimic in the front row, that is actually... well, you know, as far as 4 blue mimics goes, which are really strong enemies, one of the better encounters you could face. But yeah, he finally found the stairs. After 3 blue mimic encounters. Yeah. That is pretty insane.
And you have also seen why Decker is so good. He was like on the back row and took like 70 damage, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you can tank a lot of damage, both on Blue Mimics and in Ninjas, that we will see later, which is pretty good.
Yeah. We will maybe see him later, yeah.
Oh, it's pretty likely. You know how Ninjas are.
It is very likely, yeah. They really seem to want company. So... In terms of, as you mentioned, Decker is a very good tank, which is in particular due to his very high HP count. There's two stats that are very important for the cave, more than any of the others, which are 1 HP, or well, you know, 2 on number 2 is HP, which allows you to just take the very heavy attacks from enemies, take a bunch of spells and so on and so forth, that you just cannot do a lot against with defense and or magic resistance, because those stats really do not influence damage all that much in this game. The most important one is very likely agility, which allows you to just skip enemies altogether by escaping from them, or just act before them in battle.
Agility is just amazing, especially when you
Yeah.
have a deadly. You can just pretty much heal things if you need to. You can escape battles that, like, on certain cases when enemies are a bit slower, you can just escape those battles without having to fight, which is pretty good.
Yep, exactly.
So right now, HabKeineName is trying to get some cores, but no luck there.
For the blue mimic identification discussion in chat, I just posted an image that shows which specific force is being secured.
Yeah, on certain cases you can tell which one is what. Like when you see like a chest right next to a wall, you know it's a mimic.
That's true, yeah. The positioning is also a giveaway. And there is actually a way to tell whether the stairs are under a mimic based on their positioning or not, which is another interesting feature. So, I quickly want to mention the enemies that Traviktox is facing right now, and I think Domskee has been past them as well, are Assassins. They have the same movement pattern as Ninja, so they will move 2 steps for every 1 step you take. That's the enemy we were talking about before of, yeah, basically following the player in a very high speed, and you basically are mostly forced to defeat them if they get in your way. There is a couple of point incentives here that benefit from them, which for once is that you have to get a surprise attack on them, which is team points. So both players in a team have to surprise attack an assassin between floors 31 to 40, which is kind of self-explanatory because that's the only floors that they appear on. But there is also an incentive of surviving an instant death attack from an enemy. So on Domskee's screen right now for me, he's using, the enemy is using a skill called Vile Laughter, and it failed. It only has a 25% chance to kill, so that does count for Domskee as surviving an instant death attack from an enemy, because otherwise that character that is being targeted would immediately be killed, be reduced to 0 HP. So the same thing can happen for an attack called Terminal Blow from Assassins, and that would also yield you the point. So Assassins in this one, as annoying as they are and as attached they are to the player, they are worth a couple of points here, potentially.
Yeah. There's also an enemy that pretty much no one went for, and I doubt even Kauliarys, if he gets there, he will use it, which are Jurhans, I think that's their name. That they have a move.
Headless Red Armors.
Yeah, exactly. They also have a move called Ninja that also does instant death, but yeah, it's a bit less likely than Vile Laughter or the one from Assassins.
Yeah. And it also has a 60% kill chance, whereas Vile Laughter only has 25%. So there's definitely something to consider.
I believe that Vile Laughter is pretty much the same as casting Perish, right?
Right, exactly, yeah. Yep, and I do realize now, I've seen it mentioned in chat before, that HabKeineName is actually using Selen, which is an interesting decision. Arguably, it is not necessarily a decision for advantageous reasons. There is a bit of a meme going on whether Tia or Selen is the better girl, which
Yeah,
kind of sort of.
I'll not participate in that war.
Oh, I'm all in there, man.
I mean, it's kind of complicated because they both have good things and bad things. So Tia
Yeah.
has a bit more agility, but she has so few HP that on certain points she will die to pretty much anything. On someone's case, she has a bit more HP, but still, she's pretty slow, and in certain cases, she's like not useful. Or if if she's useful, it's too late in certain cases.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah, that sums up pretty well. So, if she makes it to a jelly fight, though, she is just better than Tia, no questions asked, because all of her stats are in agility, which doesn't really matter for the jelly, are better than Tia's. So, yeah, that is an interesting choice. We definitely do not see that in tournaments as often. There is a very good setup from HabKeineName there to get a surprise attack against the Assassin, which I just barely caught. I'm also looking at a very dire situation for Traviktox here, who has been trying to get the Valafter point and is almost left with a dead party here.
He has no healing, does he? He probably doesn't.
I know he didn't heal Lexus for the longest time, according to something I read in chat before.
Well, most people don't like Lexus. He's just useful dead.
No. I mean, of the things you're looking for in the cave, which is basically levels or, experience, the right equipment, and having a way to keep yourself alive. Kauliarys was very lucky or fortunate in the second run, and as I mentioned that he finds champion, because the first two spells I think they found when entering the cave again were Valor and Rally, which are the two revive spells. Having access to those makes the cave significantly easier because you have an infinite way to revive your characters if they die, assuming a magic casting character is alive still. So that is going to be good to have.
And if you have any magic points, because sometimes you don't get
Yeah.
magic. We don't know why, but it happens.
Yep. Tell me about it. Rumor has it that happened to me in the last week's, 2 weeks ago tournament. Oh well. So another Val after there for Traviktox, and oh wow, it kills again.
Wow.
Oh man. That is devastating. Quite literally.
And of course it hits Lexus. Why not?
Yeah. Again, it has a 25% chance to kill, and Traviktox has hit at least 2 of those. So I guess he can consider himself lucky. There it finally missed Artie. And
About time.
and there is a Gades play for HabKeineName, so correct me if I'm wrong, but he is currently running down with a Gades and a Decablade, which of course,
I think that
having
is
Selen in the
correct.
party, yeah, it means he probably won't be using the Gades blade, but we'll see. There's a couple of scenarios where it could be maybe what he wants to do.
Meanwhile, Domskee is dealing with ninjas. Let's hope it goes well for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's unlike the Assassins where you don't really have to worry about them too much, because what they do is they kill your characters maybe, but like instantly, I mean, but if they don't, generally nothing bad happens. For Ninja, it's a bit of a different story. These guys attack twice, and they attack really hard. They also have a very powerful AoE called Knife Thrower, and there you can see it.
Yeah.
Oh, and you can see it
And-
twice in a row, which means... Yeah,
And Travi is also
there
dead.
is...
By the
Oh,
way.
oh no. What
Yeah.
what killed him?
The sessions. They were doing
no.
terminal blow. They did it twice, and then things were showing downhill. That's too bad.
Oh man. So Domskee barely escapes from that ninja encounter. It looks like he's gonna get another free back attack due to the way he moved next to the enemy. So he can actually now move up left, then turn to the right, and slash, and he will get a free back attack, or left up, that also works. He's not gonna be guaranteed a gun in first, but he got it this time, so it's a 50-50 chance. It's normal. But in order to set that up to have the 2 free spaces, you have to encounter him a certain way. Let's just let that be all that's been said about it. So yeah, he did get the free.
Yeah, having winning
he
it
did succeed on the chance.
is pretty good. Oh wow, he's casting Perish. Nice.
I don't know about that. Multicasting too. Multi-targeting, I mean. I cannot really say positive things about that just because I'm preoccupied.
I don't like it. I don't like it either.
It's another point that's being contested. It's not necessarily a wrong decision. Depending on your situation, it can't even be optimal, and you can argue that that might be the case here because you really wanted to, like, more than one of these guys dead. However, the chances of that happening are not great. So yeah, he does seem to be on top of that encounter though, which means that Domskee and HabKeineName are looking really good. Both of these guys are still alive, whereas Kauliarys and Traviktox both took a death. Both took a death. There you go. I can speak English. So yeah, it's gonna be rough. So knowing Traviktox, he has a bit of tournament magic up his sleeves where he can make runs that are close to around an hour in tourneys. I wouldn't say consistently, but easily enough from what I've seen. Let's hope that will be the case. However, there's also the point that you mentioned earlier, Chico. You don't actually have to kill the jelly to win this tourney, right?
Exactly.
There are a bunch of floor goals, and there are a bunch of floor goals that Domskee and HabKeineName can basically pick off now, and Kauliarys and Traviktox will have to work a bit harder for. Well, Traviktox at the very least, because Kauliarys is still in a good spot to reach the jelly in time if, they run at a reasonable speed.
There's still room for recovery.
But yeah, HabKeineName and Domskee are looking really good right now. They're also in the point lead by 2 points. However,
Domskee had a problem there with that red plant. It doesn't seem that it's gonna get out of there.
Oh yeah, I missed that.
Yeah, there's a red plant stuck on the door. Red plants are also no joke. They attack 3 times the same character, so yeah, you want to avoid them.
I'm actually not sure which of these characters, if any, have deadlies equipped. I do see that none of the teams has the no more than 1 deadly weapon equipped point clicked, so I'm assuming they just disregarded it.
Yeah. I know that Kauliarys got the deadly rod, but I think he doesn't have it equipped. And also I think it was Travis who had the deadly rod equipped. But he died anyway.
And for clarity reasons, or just to explain it, the teams are the German Fish Freaks, which are Domskee and HabKeineName, versus the 2 Spartans, which are Kauliarys and Traviktox. So these teams are color-coded. Just to mention that, because last week we had a horizontal arrangement of teams, this week it's vertical, so the 2 players of a team are next to each other rather than, further spaced apart, just in case anyone's confused by that.
Well, I already was.
Yeah. Too late. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah, and of course, as is being posted in the chat a couple of times, so you can use the tracker command to follow along all the goals that our players and runners are going after. Right now, or basically in general, players will be going for the general goals, basically no matter where they are, and they will be able to get the exploration goals all the way on the bottom. On the floors that are mentioned in the center. So right now Kauliarys is fighting a bunch of pugs, which are those fire chickens, and he did not mark the Earn a Fruit from Battle point on his first visit. After he died and re-entered, he now gets a second chance, and that is basically a way to catch up with points here. You know, I would say easily enough. So this race is not decided by any means, right? In tournaments that just went for completion, I would say that Domskee and HabKeineName have a way better choice to get there first. But yeah, this is points based. What are you gonna say, Chica?
HabKeineName is having a bad time with ninjas. Oh, he got away. But yeah, he's on a good position right now. Meanwhile, we'll see Domskee getting a Perish hitting red plant. It was a bit earlier, but yeah. Good to see that. Don't see that.
Yeah, Perish. As you said before, Chico, it's just like Val laughter that we saw before. It is a 25% chance to kill, and you can, if you multi-target, that chance splits up further. So yeah, it is not generally the best bet if you compare it to options like a Deadly Rod, which has an 80% chance to kill a single target. So yeah, Perish is not usually regarded as a great spell, but every once in a while it gets you out of a tough situation for sure. And it seems like Kauliarys is trying to set up these evil fish for a safe back attack. I am looking at a closed door, so
yeah, that's not gonna work.
I hope he didn't forget about that.
He doesn't seem sure to know what he's doing.
Yeah, now he's got it. Yeah, he opens the door now, so we will probably see that now. Yep, so he is gonna... Oh. So the setup for this is very specific as Traviktox finds a Deca Blade. Oh, he's gonna be happy about that one. I'm not sure if he's gonna be tempted now to run to Jelly, but maybe he is.
I mean, it's Travi, you know. He's gonna be for sure tempted to do it.
That's what I'm thinking as well. So Kauliarys actually got the setup now. The secret to the quote-unquote is that you have to stay directly behind him. He only finds a single evil fish in there, which is good if you're trying to kill him to get past him. However, he wants... Well, I'm assuming anyway he has a fire spell or something like that, so... he wants as many evil fish in there as possible to take advantage of the 15% drop rate per enemy. So unfortunately he didn't get that.
Well, at least he got to show off the movement, so yeah, good showcase.
And I will definitely say, we have seen a lot of 50% encounters for these guys last year. This year as well in the quarterfinals. I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest. I do not like the 50-50s.
I don't like it either. Especially on Evil Fish, I mean... They use it
that's fun, man.
It's not fun. It's like basically the same as Blue Mimics casting using Frenzy.
Yeah, it's... I guess the good part is that you're only gonna make that mistake once per run. If you don't get them 50-50. So these guys are very deadly.
If you have like Firebird, you can fix it. But if you don't have like any powerful source of magic, you're really in trouble when you don't have it.
Yeah, sure.
It's not really a good strat.
There's a rally now for Traviktox.
Yeah, I was about to say that's also a really good option. So you might really be tempted to go ahead and try to go to the Jelly.
And Vela for Domskee, as we were talking about it. While HabKeineName is fighting Brince Lizards, so these guys famously drop a really good item called the Twist Jewel, which has the highest non-weapon agility boost in the game, which is plus 30, a rather massive boost. And they have a drop chance of, I think, 15%, and HabKeineName actually gets it. So, in addition...
Yeah, amazing.
That is really good. So in addition to getting that amazing agility boost, and as I said before, agility is the most important stat you're looking for, so he's going to be very happy about that. He also gets a point for earning a jewel between 41 and 50. That is the floor number. So yeah, that is definitely a very nice swing for him.
Yeah, it might not look like much, but 30 agility is like the difference between surviving a battle against Archfiends or just plain dying.
Yeah. So normally you reach Jelly at around level 30 in speedruns, or at least in any percent speedruns. So just to put things in perspective, Decker's agility at level 30, his base agility is 27. So a Twist Jewel will more than double it at that point. Oh, there's a Delicate for HabKeineName, so I'm not sure if he already had one, but assuming he didn't, then yeah, I'm gonna say that from
First, I got
only
the
from
Decker for Kauliarys.
Oh, very nice. So the only person I'm not sure whether they have a Deca Blade is Domskee at this point, because everyone else does.
I don't think he has one. Although it just
and there's a blue.
Magic Scale. Magic Scale is also good. It gives 10 agility.
Yeah.
A small boost, but it's useful.
Yeah, I mean, people even consider stuff like Jet Helmet good, which gives a boost of +4, I believe. Which, you know, is getting more towards the insignificant numbers, but even 4 agility can really make a big difference. And they do that by basically making you act before an enemy, and if that happens, you get a massive advantage. That's just why agility matters so much. So yeah, +30 is obviously gonna offset it very much in your favor. And Kauliarys is getting really good here picking up that strat. So it seems the bit of trouble he had before was a momentary setback.
Yeah, but he has a problem. I think he has mimics on both doors that he needs to leave this room, so yeah. That's no good.
Yeah.
Hopefully, no frenzy. Although he has
In which case...
he has pretty good magic healing. I think he has Valor, Champion, and Rally.
So, what I'm hoping, or what I'm thinking is that encountering these evil fish right now is pretty good. For once, because he can secure the fruit point and doesn't have to worry about it on his next entrance in the cave, should he die, which is something he has to be worried about with those mimics in the doorway. And also, every single level he's gonna get, for HP reasons, matters for encountering those blue mimics. So, beating these evil fish here, okay, it didn't actually give him a level up, but assuming it had, that would have helped him survive the blue mimics. And I'm looking at Traviktox's screen, and all I'm seeing is blue mimics. Wow. So these runners, that must seem great to them. So I'm posting this image here again, so you can tell the difference between actual chest and an image and a mimic, an actual chest and image more easily. So yeah, Traviktox of course does not need help to recognize it. Oh no, and there's another mimic next to the stairs. So okay, he's only level 9, which is great. But he can actually survive this battle, and what I'm thinking here is what he can do is he can beat that single mimic, and would actually get a point for it.
He can't anymore. He got away to the stairs.
Let's hope he's gonna survive this, and he does. Very nice.
I mean, it was possible because he had Zap, and I think he has a Decker Blade, right? So yeah, he had a way to get it pretty fast.
I was just about to say, like, he has Perish as well, so I mean, you know, with Maxim and Lexus, in the absence of any weapons or spells, he could just cast Perish.
I also think I know why he didn't do it, because in that case, Kauliarys also had to kill a Mimic. So he was like, maybe I should just go ahead and leave this, go to the gem if I can.
Yeah, looking at Kauliarys' screen.
Yeah, he's dead. That's too bad.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. very unfortunate for the two Spartans here. They have not been getting good RNG for their runs, I will say. They have been getting good drops, but yeah, there's, as I was saying initially, this game is not, you know, favoring you if you're not having as great of a run in any shape or form. So yeah, you can just get terrible luck, and you're gonna have to deal with it. That is unfortunately what that team has to deal with now. So they are 5 points behind, and of course, the further they're getting away from the actual high floors, the harder it's going to be to keep up in terms of points with your team. Where HabKeineName and Domskee are actually both still deep in the cave, and yeah, they keep continuing from what it seems like. It is going to be a tough catch-up battle, but we'll see what happens.
And
Our entire
point right there.
Yeah, I was about to say his entire team got silenced by a siren.
Yeah, that's a rare one, I think.
Very nice.
They usually go for confusion or sleep. So yeah, that's kind of rare.
Yeah. Interesting to see. So sirens, I think in one of the quarterfinals, I'm not quite sure who got that unfortunate. Did actually spend a bit of time in the siren encounter, but yeah, it seemed like it was a pretty short encounter for Domskee. Sorry?
I don't remember it either. I know it happened last week, but I don't remember who it was.
Yeah, and in one of my practice races for this tournament, I actually had quite the long siren encounter, which I think easily beats a certain clip that you might be familiar with.
I know which one it is.
Yeah.
It's a good one. Silly one.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, this is a bit complicated for two Spartans because it's like Kauliarys just died and there's like less than 55 there's 53 minutes on the clock, so yeah, this is not good for them.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, the chance for Kauliarys to reach Jelly and be able to kill it at this point, which is the only reason why you would probably get there in the first place, is not that high anymore, I would say. It's not impossible, but very improbable. That being said, they definitely still have a chance to catch up here. As chat mentions, the last round, their team was also behind until they did swing for... yeah. Well, actually, they were behind for the first half of the race, kind of, and then the other team swung and turned it into like a 4-point lead, and then Traviktox and Kauliarys got it back. So, yeah, I'm definitely not writing him off at this point, but it is an uphill battle no matter how you look at it.
And we also have to put in consideration that the setup that HabKeineName has right now, Decker Blade, Gady's Blade, like if he gets to the jelly, he's pretty much like well, not exactly because he can't use the Gady's Blade anyway, because
yeah, he can only use one of those, but nonetheless, he
still has the Decker Blade, so that's the important part.
Yeah, exactly. And the good thing having Lexus, Selen, and oh wait, he doesn't have Lexus. The good thing having Lexus or Selen in the party is that both of them are very capable spellcasters. So as long as you have only a single tier 3 spell, which is Firebird, Ice Walk, Dragon, or Thunder, or of course Zap for Artie. If you have one of those spells, you will deal massive damage with Selen or Lexus, more than you would be getting out of, well, Guy for once. But, yep.
I mean,
you don't
have really any guy incentives on here.
Mm-hmm.
You have the apron goal, you have the goal to get the kill the jelly with Lexis on the party. You have that goal to kill 3 enemies with AoE weapon. So yeah, there's several options for the girls and Lexus, but not really for Guy.
Yep, definitely. After HabKeineName gets an easy starting point here, getting all 4 characters confused, but fortunately, being aware of what could happen, he escapes before the fact. I want to get into a question that was asked in chat, which is how hard it is to get into this game. One thing I really like about this game as a speedrun, right? So casually, this is an enjoyable game right now as it was 25 years ago. I definitely recommend playing it to everyone who's into RPGs, who likes turn-based combat and so on and so forth, a good story. This is one of the best RPGs on the SNES, if you ask me. So,
Yeah,
in terms of speedrun,
I know several people who say that like the gameplay still holds up until today, which is pretty good.
It definitely does. Yep. Yeah, the game fortunately has a lot of fast-paced mechanics, regarding both the battles and the money, which it's just really nice to play even today. Yep. So regarding the speedrun, there is actually, it's not an execution-heavy speedrun, but you have to acquire a lot of knowledge to be able to run it. The good thing is, what you need for any percent, which is the main category of the game, and by far the best and most approachable category of the game, you do not actually need all that much knowledge just to be able to run it, and you can improve while you're doing runs. You can pick up new strats, maybe figure them out on your own. And as I was saying before, we're still finding strats today. So if you want to do the run, the good thing is you can take as long as you want and you can continuously improve, right? It's not like there is anything that's hard that you have to learn in order to progress, such as a complicated setup or skip, as you would be knowing from other games. But basically you can just get some extra safety levels, open a couple more chests for items, and you can basically make almost every single run work. I'm saying that as Traviktox and Kauliarys are being pummeled by the cave like no tomorrow, so take that with a grain of salt, but every so many runs will work out, you will be able to finish it, and you'll be able to learn the game while you're playing it, which in my opinion is a really good way to pick up a speed game. And I can very much recommend you trying it out, either casually or as a speed game. If you do want to have any resources on it, check out the Ancient Cave Discord, which you can get with the respective AC Discord command, and they'll hook you up with a link to our Discord. You can find a bunch of resources there, and of course, ask if you have any questions. And there's a link just in case. Also, you usually get a couple of nerds in chat if you stream with the Lufia 2 tag and you speak around the cave, so yeah, there is people willing to help if you're in the business. Anyway, so
Domskee is kind of trying to look for the stairs. This is 460, and there's a treasure room, so let's see if he finds the stairs.
yes, the Domskee is past the core and Hedora floors, which I completely missed. So I'm hoping he got what he was looking for there. I do not see the 2 Hedora goal marked, so he has either 0 or 1 Hedora, I'm assuming. Or he forgot to mark it. Let's see, what other goals? What's the goal situation look like? And I guess I'm gonna post
Well, right now
Tracker
there's
chat
not
as well.
much happening, really.
Yep, we've seen the status elements from Sphinxes on the 50 floors for both Domskee and HabKeineName, and I guess HabKeineName still is on the 50 floors, except he might be on 60 right now, I don't know. And he's fighting Hedoras right now. So those enemies, as previously mentioned, are weak to ice spells, which is going to favor pretty much, I think or both Domskee and HabKeineName, because I think they both have ice spells. Of course, they're also weak to deadlies, which is an instant kill attack. So yeah, HabKeineName is slaughtering through a couple of them, hoping to get a Hidorok or two. And that is an item that not only is worth a team point if the team as a whole can collect 2 or more of that, but is also an item that will give you plus 20 agility, as previously mentioned. That is worth a lot. And it will give you some additional attack power, as well as is a useful finishing option for the jelly fight. So basically it's an all-in-one package for Cave, a really useful item that you can only get from Hidoras as a drop down, with a 15% chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Traviktox made it to Ninja already. So
Yeah, man is going fast.
yeah, definitely. Domskee has a bit of an interesting treasure room there.
It's kind of complicated because he already knows where the stairs are, and it's not really a good spot. And there's a salamander next to it, and you are seeing what the salamanders do.
Yeah.
Yep, that's no joke.
Yep. So he's on floor 60. One interesting thing I guess I want to mention here is I mentioned all the way in the beginning that movement in this game is interesting to me, and the pinnacle of having to negotiate movement really is these treasure rooms. All these enemies have different movement, or most of these enemies have different movement patterns. Actually, the Hidora, which is the green snake, obviously supposed to be a Hydra, and the dragons, they move the same way. The salamanders, which is the bottom right enemy with a spear, they move towards you, but with a random chance, they don't move towards you every single step. And these magma gorms, they move towards you as long as you're close to them. So all these movement patterns on their own, there is usually a good way to deal with them, right? If you're an experienced runner, you can kind of sort of do something with every enemy. Depending on the floor situation and whatnot, but if you get them in a treasure room, it's always a bit of a puzzle, and yeah, it's always interesting, and not usually in the good way for the runner, but for us as viewers, we at least get to see a very interesting solve, hopefully anyway. I'm expecting Domskee to do good here.
Yeah, he should do just fine. I mean, there are several types of movement here. Dragons and Hidoras move the same way. Gorms move towards you as soon as you get their activation radius. And salamanders are just kind of random, so you don't really know when they move. I mean, you can tell, like, if they move or not, but you have to like to count it manually. So yeah, it takes time.
Yep. And there are some enemies like Hidoras you definitely want to get a free back attack on. So again, just to mention that, that probably is something important to know. If you, like, the way you encounter these enemies is really important for how the battle goes. I like to think of it as a two-step battle system where the first half is a tactical battle on a map, which is what you're seeing in the treasure room, for example, and then the second phase is the actual turn-based battle screen. So the movement on the map is turn-based as well, if you want to think about that, because if you want to think about it like that, because enemies only move when you move. And of course, I mean, needless to say, after I explained all this, there is no random encounters here. So it basically really is this negotiating where you're going to go, where you're going to encounter enemies. And the thing I'm trying to get at is if you encounter enemies walking into their side, so to speak, you have a 50-50% chance to surprise attack them, as Domskee just got here. If you walk into their back, then you have a 100% chance to surprise attack them. So for the more dangerous enemies, you definitely do want to get that 100% surprise attack, and that is definitely true for the Hidoras, if you can at all make it. If you're hard-pressed for trying to defeat an enemy, you're gonna go for the 50-50 if you have to, but it's usually not something you want to do.
And there is also something that we didn't mention. There are certain enemies that actually you can't get a first strike on them. So, for example, those salamanders, you can't get a 50-50 on them. Even if you like try to go to their back or something like that, you can't get a 50-50.
Yep. Which is one of the reasons why blue mimics that we've seen before are so dangerous, because you cannot actually get a surprise attack on them. So, yep.
Yeah, exactly.
And the same thing, of course, applies for Archfiends that are awaiting, at the very least, the left side of the stream here very shortly.
And HabKeineName just got a no core. That's pretty good. Those give a lot of experience, so you really want to kill some of them.
So I'm seeing HabKeineName here with no cores actually. Domskee is on floor 60 as I earlier determined. So both these guys are. I'm assuming HabKeineName is on 60 as well, or at the very least very close to it.
I think so. That's correct. Yeah, 61. There you go.
And Traviktox is actually in the late 40s, so I don't remember exactly when he died, but it feels like it's not that long ago. So he made very good time here in the short time that he had to do it, which does mean he has to sacrifice a couple of points for it on the way. But honestly, he did get everything until the 40 floors on his first attempt, meaning getting a jewel from a battle is the first goal he can even go for as far as floor goals are concerned, and he pretty much from here on out has 40 minutes to clear the rest of the caves, so he has caught up with Domskee and HabKeineName here for, you know, all intents and purposes, kind of, so he can now approach every single floor goal from here on out. He has made it to those floors where he has not gotten floor points yet. Very nice. Yeah, there is a bit of discussion about Lufia 2's movement system and whatnot, that the game needs a spiritual successor. I actually like Lufia 2 as a game as it is, man. I don't think it needs an upgrade or anything. This is actually a very nice game to play. It's a lot of fun. And of course, seeing more games that have as much innovation and good ideas in terms of gameplay ability would be great. I'm not sure what the chances for that are. But in the meantime, we have this game, which isn't really lacking anything in my opinion, right? So it's not like, oh yeah, this game has good mechanics, but it really is that good.
So Travi just got a point, I think, by killing an enemy that doesn't show up in regulars, right? He was facing rogue shapes.
Oh, nice.
So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's right. He never killed that torrent earlier.
That's right. Meanwhile, Domskee seems to be stuck on a small room with plants and a warm eye, I think. So that's kind of a complicated gem. Let's hope he gets through it.
I haven't looked at his screen for a bit, but it seems like after the previous treasure room, he just got into the next tricky situation.
Yeah, and warm eyes are also a tough enemy. They can attack twice. They can paralyze teammates. It's not really a good enemy to face.
Yep, again, a couple enemies. You don't necessarily want to fight these warm eyes. They have movement that tends to mess people up unless you know exactly what you're doing. And I'm seeing a couple of cores on Kauliarys' screen. That's what I mentioned way earlier and never got to talk about again. So these cores that you see, those white squares on the map anyway, these of course, they're dropping a lot of experience, and if you actually are in need of experience, which, to be honest, at most points you will be, that is a very good way to pick them up. Unfortunately, they have a 75% chance to escape. And you do need to spell to kill them, although that part is easy to come by. So Domskee gets one of them.
If you can do it with physical attacks, but it's less likely to kill them. You can have like,
Right.
I don't know, kind of stronger weapon and still see a miss.
Right, yeah, I shouldn't have said...
It's kind of weird why it happens. I don't know exactly why, but yeah it happens.
Yep, and in general, especially in a tourney run where you do have, I mean, not anymore, right? But in general, you have a full 2 hours, which is generally more than any single of these runners does need to finish the cave normally, right? So you do get a bit of extra time, so to speak, to kill those cores to make sure you really have that experience that your characters need to have, the high IP, the high HP that they need, the high agility that they need to deal with the cave. So, yep. You're not looking to get to a very high level, but generally around level 30 is where your stat curves for the level ups starting to flatten. So getting to 30 is usually where you're trying to get to. Whether you can is a different story, but...
And Traviktox got another point on the magic boost. He used shield and I think a mind gourd with Decker, so there's another free point.
Nice. So I saw him pick up shield like less than 5 minutes ago. So, yep.
And they did it on a fight that is pretty safe. Gargoyles are not really that strong, so when you have just one on the screen, you can just cast shield and it's all fine.
Yeah. Oh, and there's an old sword for Domskee. That is another fractional, however, one with a strong attack power, which is what you don't see every day.
That's kind of interesting because I think, yeah, that's right. He's the only one who doesn't have a Decker Blade, so it's kind of a setup that he has to do here.
Yeah, so it looks like he's trying to get surprise attacked by a ghost ship. So these ships that you see, the boats in the cave, of course, they are facing down and they will never move, just like blue mimics. However, they have a facing, so you can surprise attack them, they can surprise attack you. And what he's doing here is he is encountering it from the top first, so he's getting a 100% first strike. He sees the enemies in an encounter. Of course, while he does that, the dragon is kind of trolling him and gets below the ship, but fortunately he gets out there quickly again. And now he basically has to deal with a couple of encounters. He's turning down to get the 100% attack. He will get surprise attacked, and that allows him to mark the team goal, which means he doesn't get a point immediately, but as soon as HabKeineName does the same, their team will get 1 point for getting surprise attacked by a ghost.
Yeah.
Again.
I think they're kind of on the same pace, so we should be getting the same point too.
Yeah, I just posted the tracker link after Hoppy posted the Discord link again, and if you look at the tracker link, you will see what these runs are getting for. So this is actually, I think, one of the first situations in this tournament where actually 2 runners of the same team both made it at around the same pace deep in the cave, which is good to see because that means these team goals are a lot more valuable. By default, the exploration single goals are 10 points per player, and the team goals are only 1 point per team, right? So kind of half a point per player if you want to think about it that way. Again, they only count if both players get them, and they count as 1 point, even though 2 people have to contribute to them. But having both players at these floors means you basically can get 3 points on the floor, except instead of just 1 or 2, right? So 2 would already require both players being there. So I guess it's 3 points instead of 1, which naturally is really good. We're still looking at a 4-point lead for Team Domskee and HabKeineName. And there's 31 minutes left, so that is actually a long time. Yeah, we'll see. I will not count the 2 Spartans out yet, because
Yeah,
I know they know how to snipe tournaments at the last second, looking at last week's races.
yeah, exactly. Last week was a good example on how tight a race can be with this kind of setup. And now Domskee is trying to get the point of surviving the fight with the one Porky.
Yeah, an enemy that attacks 8 times in one turn. So, for those that have played this game casually, that is probably something. That's probably an enemy you remember.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Definitely an enemy you normally want to back attack to safely kill it before it attacks.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Traviktox has made it to Sirens, so the point objective there is that he has to get 2 of his characters afflicted with a status ailment. He gets lucky here or not. Oh, there is a myth blade for HabKeineName. Damn, okay. So, yeah. He's putting together a very good setup. Unlike the Decablade for Kauliarys. Unlike the Gades Blade Decablade combo that he had before, Maxim can actually equip the Myth Blade. So now he has either a Myth Blade Decablade combo or a Myth Blade Gades Blade combo, if he chooses to do so. So again, runners are kind of looking for a combination of finishers and fractionals. In a certain constellation, so Decablade will always deal more damage than a Gades Blade. If you just look at those 2 damage numbers, right? In like, you know, a lab setting. However, yeah, I saw it. I'm looking at the Iris goal and whether some of them, one of them marks them, because I definitely do not have the count. But Eli's letting us know that it's the fourth Iris for the Spartans. So yeah. Anyway, what I was getting at is that you're looking at a combination, or you're looking for a combination of fractionals and finishers, and combining too many fractionals isn't gonna do all that well for you. So at one point, if you have fractionals for everyone else, you might want to equip the Gate display instead of the Decker. So having it in your back pocket is a good option, I assume. That is if he does not have any other finishers, of course. So there's a bunch of variables, and again, that is what you kind of need a bit of knowledge about the K4. And there's... Oh no.
It's running with Salon, so there's a chance of getting any 3 times attack weapon for her.
True.
You were about to mention the Iris, I think, helmet?
Yeah. I was, but I was thinking of the 4th Iris item and thinking that was the 5th, but of course that is the other team.
Yeah, that's the other team.
Yeah, there is me getting confused with the change of layout, but I will say that I generally do approve of the layout change. I think this is much easier to follow in general, even though I just confused it this one time.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it took just a bit to get used to. Right now I'm just okay with it.
And apparently it is Domskee's and HabKeineName's 2nd Iris item. On Domskee's screen right now, you see in our treasure room, and you can actually see something that doesn't as commonly appear, which is that some of the enemy sprites are actually glitching out because there's so many enemies on screen at once that the SNES is, rather stressed in displaying all of them at the same time. So as soon as you open the chest...
Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me?
Yeah, and I mean, look at these enemies. There is Orkies, which, as we said, 8 attacks per turn. There is Archfiends in here. These Hades...
This is the treasure room.
Yeah. This Hades can potentially include an Archfiend. The Hades is the chariot walking around here, and that will only move horizontally. But that also means that it's kind of cutting off, or I don't know how to put it. It's kind of marking this one tile at the top of the room where you can walk horizontally to the stairs. We saw the stairs are at the top left of this room. So, yeah, at one point you might have to encounter that Hades.
I'm not sure if Domskee has already a deadly because he was using Perish on like mid run. So this might be actually a really bad rune.
Yeah, fair. I believe he picked up a deadly, but of course he might not equip it for the deadly point. I mean, I don't see him have marked the deadly point, but yeah, there is 25 minutes left, and he definitely has to go through this treasure room, right? He can't be sitting here. He can't be getting points while just hanging out on the floor. So, oh, he very nicely sets up, well, almost sets up, not quite yet. This genie for a back deck here, but I think he's just trying to go past it, which of course is fair. And yeah, without the deadly, you're really not looking forward to killing those orkies. So getting a back attack against these orkies is reasonably easy. The problem right now is that you would probably activate a couple of these archfiends, which will follow you indefinitely, so he does not want to do that. He currently has not activated any one of them, so yeah. Oh, okay, it's only a single Hades, and that is definitely the path to least resistance, trying to snipe this guy, get him out of the way. And one mechanic I guess we didn't go into is that some of these enemies are undead, so him having Valor, which is normally a revive and healing spell, can actually be used against undead to damage them, which is a very nice application of the spell. Or healing spells in general. He also has Champion, so
But Valor is generally better. I mean, Champion is faster, but Valor does more damage.
Yep. And these guys have like 1,700 something HP, so you definitely want to whip out the big guns. Ooh, and now he's gotta go.
Yeah, this is
the
really
way back to the left is not as attractive anymore. I thought we've seen the stairs in the top left, but looking at it now, I didn't check for it again. Oh yeah, there's the stairs. Never mind.
Yeah, it's there. It's there. So yeah, genies are also not a great fight to have to deal with no deadlies.
Yep. At the same time, HabKeineName on the screen below is fighting an Archfiend, which is the enemy on the left, and those are very strong enemies. Again, one of those you probably do not want to fight, as they get 2 attacks, and both of them can be a strong spell. I believe do they have Destroy? Do they have an instant kill attack? I don't even know. Or if you get lucky. Yeah. Or if you get lucky, they can do Stronger, and basically nothing happens to you. But yeah, it's an enemy to be reckoned with, and another enemy you cannot really get a back attack on, which makes these guys really dangerous.
We also had Destroy, so yeah, there's also that extra tool I was talking about, like at the start of the run. Destroy is also pretty good.
Yep, Destroy has a 50% chance to kill enemies, so it kind of sits right between Perish and the Deadly. Perish being 25%, the Deadly being 80%. So it's a good option.
Domskee just used combo attack. I'm pretty sure he's not happy with that because it barely did any damage. So combo attack is kind of a weird one because it has like fire, thunder, water, and ice damage, so it doesn't really do much.
Very few people that use it are happy with it, I would say.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so in terms of points, it seems that none of the players, at least to this point, I'm not quite sure which floors everyone's at, has managed to afflict the status ailment to Sphinx. I'm curious where exactly Traviktox ended up, but he's at least at floor 60, which is nice to see. And no one has gotten 2 Hidor Rocks, but did anyone see anyone getting a Hidor Rock?
I don't think so.
I'm not sure that happened, yeah. both genies waking up for Domskee at the same time, if I saw that correctly. So he did manage to put them both to sleep, I'm assuming, with a sleep ball. And
He has coma. He did it.
he has coma.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah. So of course that takes him out of battle pretty much, and you can whack on him. But if you do hit him with a physical attack, there's a certain chance they're gonna wake up. And yeah, they did both wake up at the same time, which is making the plan look not as good, but it was definitely a good idea. And HabKeineName uses a smoke ball there to get out of the battle.
Yeah, he managed
wow.
to kill that Archfiend with Destroy. But that was pretty close.
Yeah, his deadly missed, if I can trust chat, which I assume I can. So, how could Artie miss? He never does. I wish that was true.
Yeah.
It's not like Artie actually misses more than our characters for stat reasons, but Artie is just the character that will always act first, that will always use deadly first, so... yeah, when Artie misses, or not always, I should say, not in Hundo, right? But Artie will be the one you'll mostly get the opportunity to see the deadly miss. Now there is an apron shield for Kauliarys, very nice.
One of my favorites. I still prefer Bolt Shield, but apron shield is
definitely.
Also...
Yeah, Bolt Shield is definitely the best shield in the game. Changed my mind.
I won't. I like it.
You can't either. So Kauliarys is fighting Tortonas here, which also have a very good drop chance of dropping an Earth Jewel, which he actually managed to get there. So yeah, there's a point for them.
Very nice.
Assuming he didn't have it before, but I mean, why would you fight Tortonas? And yeah, the score goes from 22 to 23. So they're still looking at a 4-point difference, but again, it's doable. The thing is that HabKeineName and Domskee are also running into floors where the goals are going to be a lot harder to get from now on. So they're going to have a goal with having all 4 party members with 0 HP, which is kind of hard on Domskee. I see him still in that treasure, man.
there's a point for Traviktox. He just silenced Sphinxes. Easy point.
Oh, nice. Yep. Yeah, there is talk of tiebreaker in the chat right now, but that is actually not decided at this point. So,
I mean, we might not even get there. Oh, yeah, that's not good.
That too, yeah. But what I meant is, I'm assuming the tiebreaker comment was regarding who got further in the cave. Oh, but Traviktox just Providence, so I will say that that point pretty much is decided. Because Domskee and HabKeineName will probably get further than Kauliarys will be able to get here in the remaining time. So I guess the tiebreaker in that regard would go to the team, the German Fish Freaks.
I think maybe Travis is going for the apron point because he just got Tia from town.
That does mean... Oh, yeah, right. He did get Tia, but he left Lexus in the party. Very nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Apron and Providence, so... the thing is, Apron is a team goal, so Kauliarys would need to do the same. Of course, that is perfectly possible. And also, Kauliarys still has the Providence point to go for as well. I'm assuming he has a Providence already in inventory. Wait, did Traviktox die? Shouldn't he also have the Providence point already? Oh no, he Providence passed floor 50, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. He was on Sphinx floors, that's like 60
Yep.
or 65.
65 plus. Or 63 plus, I guess. Yeah, so they definitely have a way to catch up with a couple of remaining points here. Whereas Providence is not an option for Domskee and HabKeineName. So the chat comment just said Kauliarys will probably get or likely get a teleport on his tile, and then Providence. So yeah, that sounds like a good plan. Because the cutoff for that goal is exactly when he gets to use Providence, right? And finding an apron in 50 minutes seems like a very easy task to fulfill. Unfortunately for both Kauliarys and Traviktox, they have filled pretty much all the early goals. Getting a fruit in time is going to be hard for them. They can still go for the 2 Sour Ciders and 2 Charred Mutes, although that is a bit of gambling. So, yeah. And they also only need 1 more Iris item. This does seem like it could be another close race, because I will say these guys definitely have the option of providencing more readily at their hand. Of course, Domskee and HabKeineName could also opt for that. However, they still have points they could go for this deep in the cave, right? So, I'm curious to see what's going to happen here. I'm not sure it is in their best interest to Providence. Because again, they are past floor 50, which means they would have to Providence, get back in the cave, find Providence, and Providence out. If anything happens to them on the way, so if they die, they have to start over until they find Providence. That is not guaranteed to happen in this time, so... Yep.
So Kauliarys just got a point for teleporting on the same tile as an enemy.
Nice.
And he's now at floor 50, so he might maybe do Providence. Let's see. I mean, he probably should do it, because since Traviktox is probably going for the apron point, he probably should also leave and try to find an apron.
If Traviktox is going for that point, yeah. I mean, we don't know what they're discussing, right? That was basically a guess. Maybe Travis just hunting for the Iris item. And their plan is to get the also very attractive floor 60 goal of having more than one, or 51 to 60 goal of having more than one party member affected by a status ailment. That is also basically free, right?
Yeah.
Of course, it is the same as just using Providence, so you're getting 1 point no matter what you do.
Yeah, so he's on 51, so he's not really going for that Providence point.
Okay. Yep. He can still, of course, use Providence and go for the apron. So he will simply not get a point for Providencing now, but he can still get the apron. So the thing is, he would, that's why I said Providencing and getting the Siren is basically the same thing. He would have to get the Sphinxes, which are at floor 63 to 65, if I remember correctly, to get yet another point. And, well, I mean, it's definitely possible, right? So I might even say easy enough. If he has a freeze ball, then sure, that is 2 points, and he might even on top of that be able to get in the cave and snipe the apron. What you got to keep in mind is, as has been said before, the tiebreaker is who got in the cave the furthest, or farthest. Correct me if I'm, or let me know which.
Yeah, I think it's
the correct one.
The former, not the latter. I'm not sure that. I'm bad at English. Sorry.
So, in any case, the Spartans do have to expect to have to beat the other team by at least 1 point.
But yeah, as you can see, we have another tight race here. Still,
yeah, definitely. I like these races, to be honest. Because it's kind of funny how with point totals like that, tiebreakers are still coming up, right? Like these point counts are definitely high enough where you would think that it's not as probable to actually get point ties, but assuming Traviktox would tie in this race, that would be his 3rd tie in a Jelly Jam race, which I can only think of as not very likely. The last one being, by the way, in last week's quarterfinal race of his team, which I also thought was very, very entertaining from start to finish. Just like this one, to be honest. A lot of action happened. I really like that. I mean, not like it's over yet. But I really like that Team Domskee and HabKeineName both managed to stay alive this far and still are, yeah.
I mean, the fact that
Alive.
Domskee survived that treasure room, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
It's
that
like,
costs a massive amount of time,
yeah, right.
but still, very nice.
So HabKeineName is on floor 90 right now, so he actually has
Mhm.
time to reach the jelly.
Yep, that would be nice to see. So a couple of dragons here are, as usual, in the way, going about their business. He...
I just don't know if he has IP. Probably.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm not sure.
Oh, it looks like he's going for the feeding goal, which is interesting. I would assume that means he doesn't necessarily try to get to the jelly. Maybe he's just checking things out, but there really is no reason why you wouldn't wait to floor 98, or even the jelly floor. Well, okay, not the jelly floor if you're trying to go for the point. But if you have a jelly kill, yeah, I would say going for the jelly might be the more, well, sane decision in any case, right? Because personally, I do not like feeding capsules. I would definitely try to go for a jelly kill if I had the chance.
Yeah,
Probably even, yeah.
I mean, he might be waiting for Domskee to arrive at floor 90.
Oh, you got a point.
Phase, but it's on floor 80, so it's still a little behind.
Yeah. And again, that wouldn't necessarily be a reason not to advance right now. Just as a reminder for everyone, because I don't think this has been mentioned this round, except for it's in the rules document. If the runners are making it to floor 99, so if they clear floor 98 and they enter the stairs, they do get as much time as they need to feed their capsules, equip their weapons and whatever, and face the boss. So you cannot IP farm anymore at floor 99. Yeah.
And there
I
are
would say...
people that actually lost runs to that.
Yeah. Yeah, as Mike says, if you do want to learn a skill for a capsule, which I doubt is the case here, because, I mean, I don't know whether HabKeineName is planning to use Gusto or Blaze in this battle. Blaze has all the levels, I believe, from the entire cave. I'm not sure whether he switched to Gusto.
He has a crystal one, so he has a 3x weapon for Salon. Maxim will be doing a Fifth Blade, so I think one
Blade?
already. I don't know if he has a curse lifter, but I'll probably say no. So it is like the only one that doesn't really have something to do. Maybe a tier 3 spell. I don't know.
Meanwhile, the Church of Capsule Feeding in chat is sad about not feeding that Crystal Wand, which, for all I know, might be the only jelly kill option there is. So... Oh yeah, that does not look like a Form 4 feed. Oh wow. So, okay, maybe the point here was that he was unsure whether he could get to Form 4, and now he knows he needs to open more. That is very much possible. However, if he enters these stairs, that pretty much means he will not open anymore because he did not explore this floor. We will see in due time.
And Domskee is facing Wind Genies. Those are really fast, so that's kind of a tricky one.
Yeah. The last cave run I was looking in was 100% run, so I'm looking at Wind Genies and I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. But now that you mention it, yeah, those guys are dangerous.
Not really. They have like 180 something agility, so only Artie is faster than them. And considering he can't use Perish or Destroy, and Domskee doesn't have a deadly. This is a complicated situation right here.
Yep.
You
Oh,
really,
and because that had been mentioned in chat right now, there is another race afterwards, right? So this is the first of 2 semifinals today.
that is correct.
Yep. You were gonna say something though. Sorry for interrupting you.
I forgot it. Oops.
Oh, I'm sorry. There is Traviktox's Providence, so he has that in the bag if he chooses to use it, and he does it right away. So there's this point. He can go right back in the cave. He did not get the apron point yet, so I'm assuming he's gonna go back and trying to get that Iris and the apron. And maybe Kauliarys is gonna do the same sooner rather than later. We will see. But I'm assuming
He might do that, but then again, less than 5 minutes to go, so...
Kauliarys has marked the afflicted status ailment to Sphinx goal, which I believe is a mistake. There must be a misclick, or the have more than one party member affected by a status ailment, because he is not at Sphinx floors yet. Never mind,
yeah,
the points total is correct. And actually, I'm looking at 27 to 27, so I'm assuming one of them got another point. What was that actually? I did miss that one. But again, right now, the tiebreaker is in favor of Domskee and HabKeineName. HabKeineName might still get to Jelly and get a couple of points there. So I'm very curious what happens here in the last 3 minutes 30. I'm definitely sure we're gonna see more than the 27 to 27. That I know. However, in which way it will happen and for which team, that is
anything
not
can
quite
happen
clear yet.
right now.
Yeah, so you mentioning the 2 players being on floor 91 to 98 team points. So HabKeineName and Domskee can actually get that if HabKeineName waits. Never mind. So,
wait for that.
So in any case, he did make it to Jelly, and now he has 2 minutes 55 seconds to, very slowly enter his menu and try to prepare a Jelly kill, because if he does kill the Jelly before the timer runs out, then he does not get anything, because that's a team goal. Never mind me. So yeah, he can take his time.
Well, it still had the chance of defeating the Jelly before the time runs out, but...
Yeah. I mean, oh wait, there's not a team goal. I was looking at making the floor 9-9 with a time limit. Never mind. So I can't read. Right. You're perfectly correct. He would have, and that's what I thought initially, he would have the chance to defeat the Jelly before time runs out. However, I think he might just take a bit too much time to do that if he has IP in the first place, which I still don't know. So, yeah. We'll see what's going to happen from here on out. If Domskee makes it to 91, then that was probably a bit of a hasty move. However, I will say that keeping track of the floor numbers is also not always easy if you don't use single floor splits. So, and yes, I did use that opportunity to shamelessly advertise that. Yeah. We'll see. Of course, what HabKeineName can do is he can just sit there, wait and see what happens, because right now he's won. And only fight the Jelly once the race is over for everyone else.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
I don't know what he's doing, really.
Yeah, I don't know either. Maybe he's taking a bathroom break or something. It has been a 2-hour race. Basically, yeah. He does not seem to think, or he did not seem to think that he can get the Jelly kill before the time runs out. So he basically is taking his time now and Yeah, waiting to see what happens, I guess. He cannot get the 90s goal anymore because that is only true from floor 91 to 98. That is not 91 to 99. Very important distinction. So, of course, maybe he misread that, but yep.
And he also, I think he has, or maybe not. I'm not sure if he has any fruits because he could feed maybe Gusto if he had Earth Fruit and Master Form hit him on the jelly, but I don't think that's. He doesn't have
I
it.
think he has an Earth Fruit, but he would have to do it within the next 10 seconds for it to count, and it is a team goal.
Yeah.
So yeah. One single iris wins. There is only a couple of seconds left though, and yeah, we're looking at like this is time. We're looking at 27 to 27.
Oh.
Yeah, 28 to 27 actually.
Yeah.
But that was past the time limit. So assuming that it could have been a point that had been gotten before that. So yeah, basically, yeah, Eli, feel free to jump in here as soon as you want to announce the winner of this race, because then I want to take that away from you.
Yeah.
And then I guess we're gonna drag people over into in this channel for commentary, or they're finding their way in here by themselves, which also works, I guess.
Yep.
Sup?
It looks like our match is
Yo.
pretty much done.
GG, everyone.
It's
GG.
not over yet.
It looks like our match is pretty much done because with the points currently tied, HabKeineName is the deepest in the cave, and tiebreakers are broken at this point by depth. Since there
Well,
have
still,
been no jelly
we got
kills.
a jelly fight, and I definitely want to go for it.
Have you just been sitting here waiting?
I haven't
I
been
was
sitting
about to
here
say.
waiting. I was sitting here pulling up the jelly call because I wasn't sure if I want to go Decker Myth or if I want to go Gady's Myth here.
Ah, you were cheating. I see.
It's not cheating.
Doing math on the
After I
side.
reach the final floor, I have all the time in the world.
Well, everybody in the audience, feel free to whip out your calculators if we're going to take odds and see what we have as far as a good kill goes. You'll want to, of course, keep an eye on the numbers here.
And as far as all the runners go, if your run is already done and you're not fighting the jelly still, then please double check your point scores. See whether something I did see is that Kauliarys probably marked the afflicted status element to his Sphinx point when they should have probably marked the one in the floor before, but I'm not perfectly sure on that. Okay, yeah, there you go. That's what I thought. So right now I'm actually looking at 28 to 29 points.
What?
Yeah.
So we need a kill.
Is the audio not coming through? Oh, hold on a moment. I think I see what the problem is.
Come on, Gusto, pull your weight. I'm not sure if this is gonna be enough after these damage rolls.
You know, no spoilers in any case, HabKeineName.
Yeah. Please, thanks.
Because we're seeing this with like 3 days delay, so.
While I was fixing audio, I did not have my calculator set, so I'll have to trust you guys to have done the math.
I mean, I didn't do anything.
Well, me either.
You know, you called chat on the action, so I'm assuming maybe.
This is good enough, I think.
What's that, Chico? Come again?
I think this looks good.
Oh.
We'll see shortly.
I heard a jelly kill.
That's a kill.
And
There it is!
Yeah.
Very nice.
It's not even a close one. Decker
Nice.
still had a move. Oh.
So you're saying you could have gotten this kill in time, you just didn't because you could afford it.
No, he did it because he was not sure if he should use Decker Blade or Gary's Blade.
Artie didn't
Well,
have
I
anything to
guess.
do. You really weren't sure about going double fractional?
I really wasn't sure about it. I mean, it sounded like a good idea. I mean, I was trying to farm Gorgons, but sadly had no luck on that. I was trying to farm Hydoras, but had absolutely no luck on that. So in the end, I was just like, I have nothing to do with Artie. So I was just like, okay, I have one finisher. Do I want to go with 2 fractals? Till I just, in the end, actually remembered I can just cast Zap 3 times with Artie. That would be about as strong as a finisher.
Yeah, I mean, you did make it work in the end, so something we were wondering here on the commentary couch was whether you guys were going for both being on the 90s floors. Was that a thing you had in
We
mind?
were thinking about it for a moment, but I actually miscounted if I ended up being on 97 or 98. And so I
that's what I
also
figured.
so I just didn't want to risk it anymore of waiting and maybe missing it to just be a floor early and then be locked in a floor where I have to get 20 monsters past. So
Yeah.
in the end, I just YOLO'd for it.
Yeah, I mean, nice.
Yeah, I'd like to congratulate all of our runners. It was
so-
a tough run for everybody. Kauliarys and Traviktox got hammered in the 30s
Yeah.
and 40s several times
Yeah.
back to back.
I was
Yeah,
about to say, do you guys have anything to say about that? Because that did not look nice.
Yeah, I mean, except the assassins that terminal blowed me like 3 times, and Vilothat me 2 times, or
Yeah.
something like that. Other than that, I'm pretty satisfied with the run.
Yeah, what about the 1 hour 20 minutes or something like that you lost to waiting for the torrent?
Yeah,
to be fair, I had the same issues. So.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we know for a fact that that fight can take too long. It's just like
Mhm.
being stuck with sirens.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, I guess, in retrospect, Traviktox did not get the kill on the torrent, so yeah. Very
It-
unfortunate. I was basically looking at your side of the run and it did not look great. I'm very sorry.
So you guys, I'll make it
Yeah.
official. Congratulations to Team German Fish Freaks for earning the tiebreak win with the not only a depth-based tiebreaker, but the jelly kill, confirming that they did in fact earn the lead there. So moving on to the finals will be Domskee and HabKeineName facing
Again?
potentially their former foes from last year. Team
Well,
Like
half the former foes.
half of them.
Half
yeah.
the former forms.
Could be very interesting. all
Obviously the better half, so you better brace yourselves.
Yeah, we took care of one for already.
Well, Carla, Traviktox, again, chat, if you want to throw them a GG, they both played fantastically and they absolutely deserve some credit. So, throw your best
Oh, I
GGs
for
their way.
definitely.
sure didn't play fantastically.
And
I was a nerf wreck everywhere. I like around the 50s. I was just a nerf wreck.
You guys
Also,
did.
I just want to shout out that I found my first Gades blade in like 1.5 years, and it's on the one run where I can't actually use it.
you could have, but you shouldn't have.
I feel terrible for you. His opponent for the finals. So yeah.
So, audience, stay tuned. In about 15 to 20 minutes, we'll get the show started with round 2 of today's semifinal matches to determine the second participating team for the finals, which will be held next week.